to work with. It's been a couple of misfields in the ground fielding, but you know what? I can only...
Go and hold on. Get us up to 220. Get Viv King with a new ball in his hand. Probably see King with a ball from the nursery end because he'll bring it away from the right-handers at the top. And then we'll see Kyle Klein, who is the most remarkable run over the last 18 months since forcing his way into the team. We'll get a couple of early wickets. We'll start to apply some pressure. Know how good Roelof van der Merwe is as well. No Arjan Dutt in the 11 today, which is maybe a bit of a surprise. And then through the middle overs, they're going to have the X factor of Paul van Meekeren to deal with. Van Meekeren will come on as the first change, probably in the 10th, 12th over, something like that. He's bowling as quickly as I've ever seen him, and he says it's the fastest he feels as though he's ever bowled. Blew away a couple of the Emirati batters, and even did it to Scotland once too, in the Netherlands. So if he can get warm and the sun stays out, it would help.
What, who's getting warm today? You are kidding.
Chilly, isn't it? Oh. There's a soft drink down in a bag to our left here that's out of the sun. I wonder if that is going to feel like it's in the fridge. My feet feel like they're in the fridge.
So do I. I've now got a blanket. I was down to my last layer that I could put on, and the wonderful Ian Potts, who works here and looks after us, he heard me and he came down with a blanket because he was worried about me. I've got hand warmers in my pocket.
You'll probably get sunburnt though today too. That's the madness of it.
Oh.
All 4 seasons in one day again in Scotland. Fans trying to get them going. Powdle fields well, and direct hit would have been interesting. Roelof van der Merwe, he's 40 years young, yet to get sprinting.
I noticed him doing a lot of stretching out the hammies before this game began, and he's just had to use them as well. Full stretch. Those hammies getting a real workout. It's actually been a good education. Before I came up here last year, I had never felt a hand warmer, and I didn't really understand how they operated. They're marvellous things. Little coffee bags that you put in your pocket. They generate a lot of heat.
Always up and about in the field, aren't they, Nepal? They've been excellent. Even that 1.5 chance that went down. Such a fantastic diving effort from Bim Sharkey. Nepal have been really good. Aaron Casey, you can see just battling the wind, talking about the different deliveries that he's bowling. It's 175 for 7.
Now, we have sent a lot of shout-outs to fans of Nepal, but I want to send one out to Isaac de Brain, because he sent a message watching on from Penguin in Tasmania, supporting the Dutch lads.
Is that a place name?
Yeah, Penguin.
New Australia, I tell you.
Well, you know what my hometown is?
You're Orange, aren't you?
Yes.
Yeah.
And named after William, Prince of Orange, of course, Dutch royalty. So, you know, I've got to have a little bit of a soft spot for the Dutch lads as well.
Sampal Kami returns to the attack there, just holding the 1 over back of Sandeep Lamachani. I wonder, is that maybe a tactic to think that if it is 10 and 11, that he might have to bowl to Van Meekeren and Kingma might not be able to pick the leg spinner?
Well, they're in a pretty strong position, you feel, so far. So it might not be a bad option to have that up your pocket. Here you go, but here's a question that we've got too, coming in from Sanjog Bhattarai. So that ball was... And it's been...
पढ़ा है मेरे टेलीग्राम पे, जाके विनर देख लो, हर मैच देता हूँ भाई।
I did.
You know, I would have liked to maybe be given a chance as well. There's a bit of a talk of the younger Deleda. He's coming up. He's in the 19s at the moment. There's a couple other players that we referred to in that 19s. It's a very strong crop of 19s. Need to start getting some batters through. Always a good bowlers. It's the tallest nation in the world, remember, on average height. They're never short of big, tall, fast bowlers, although ironically maybe their best one at the moment is the short in stature Carl Klein. He's only about 5'10". 42 bowled, 179 for 7. And the other reality is this is a tough league. And that's something Scott Edwards has said to me again and again. We went and put it up to the Super League teams who got qualified for the World Cup. There's also no Logan van Beek. He's a huge miss.
Yeah.
Down with Leicestershire at the moment. I know he'll probably, if they're not playing right now, their T20 Blast game won't be on until tonight. He'll be watches every ball of the Dutch stuff. He's a huge miss, bat and ball. Him in at number 7, 8. It's a completely different look to the batting lineup.
But it's the reality for so many of these sides throughout this league. Because you look at Scotland facing similar things as well. It's just the nature of sometimes almost a semi-professional status of the game in associate cricket. And the depth is constantly being challenged for many of the sides at this level.
Yeah, the reality is as well as Raj Banshee returns to the attack and is pulled away for, should be a couple, Van der Merwe. There isn't, like the top class is a fantastic competition. They say it's the longest continuously running league in the world because it kept running throughout both world wars, including, the history is fascinating, a POW 11 in the First World War that I hope I've got this right. Bertus de Jong will be on to me quickly if I haven't, or his great pal Rod Lyle, who helps run the top classes site, website that is. I think they won an edition of the top class in during that First World War in the 1914 to 1918 era. But it's a great competition with great history and a lot of fans, really long-standing fans who follow the fortunes of the VRA Club or Vorburg or VOC, Kampong. They follow them, wholeheartedly. And if you think about the history of Dutch cricket, the boys who originally blazed the trail for it, the appeal this time, is there bat involved again? I think I heard two noises once more. Might have been an underedge.
Yeah, a little bit of a woody sound. But, I mean, you're right. And for me, the Netherlands team, I mean, they have really blazed a trail for all of associate cricket. The way that they've been able to perform at World Cups against the full member nations consistently now. We've seen them do it more than once. That's really well played. Just pick the gap. Might be held up. Yes, it is. Good fielding. Just inside the rope. Nice bit of cricket. But the way they've done it consistently in both formats, in T20 cricket and ODI cricket, against the top member nations, they had the benefit of that cycle in the Super League, which feels a shame that it didn't continue. And I know that there are calls, I think particularly coming out of Australia, for it to be brought back.
Deep in the crease again. That one's going to angle down, miss the leg stump. Yeah, but the reality is for Dutch cricket in the modern game, it's a pretty small community. You're looking at sort of 6,000 cricketers in the country at most, and they have to make the most of their very limited resources. They have the little Pro Series that sits on top of the top class, but because of the focus on T20 cricket, that was played in the T20 format there over the course of the last couple of weeks. And again, that's kind of really with this pool of players and a few more. Gets us to the end of the 43rd. 184 for 7. Sampalkami to bowl his 8th over. It's been good today. There was 2 prisoner of war 11s in the top class in the 1914 to 1918 era, and POWA won it in 1918. Isn't that a great bit of history?
That is incredible.
Kept running through both wars somehow.
Wow.
Probably, imagine not in Rotterdam, given the horrific bombing there. Gorgeous country, though. You're lucky enough to be over there at the start of May. Is again, Dipender Singh Ari makes the difficult look easy.
See, I've been to the Netherlands a few times, but never for cricket.
How were you not there for that Netherlands-England series a few years back? What were you doing that was more important than joining the Barmy Army?
Hang on, what year was that?
Cut away behind square, races towards the rope, but Rajbanshi does enough to keep it to a couple.
Okay, I need to know what year that was. Was I stuck in the Southern Hemisphere, stuck in Australia for COVID?
No, it was. Pretty sure it was 2022. I'm going to be shouted at if that's wrong, but I think it was 2022. So the COVID stuff should have been long over.
Right, but it was early in the year, like early in the summer, I should say.
Mid-June.
Oh, okay. I didn't come over. So that was coming out of COVID.
They made 498, England. Come on,
no.
You should have been there, Mel.
Well, I would have loved to, but, someone's got to pay for the airfare and the accommodation. I'm not made of money. Just coming out of COVID, I'd gone to Pakistan for the Australian multi-format series over in Pakistan.
Well, wedged away and just out of the reach of Asif Sheikh. A little bit of fortune for Kroos, who's going to be critical. It's a good little fight back for the 8th wicket. Netherlands, they might still scrap up to that 230, 240 marker. With their bowling and fielding, you cannot rule them out.
Oh, absolutely. Not ruled them out at all. And I've been impressed with Crows taking on the mantle. Now, senior member or senior person in this partnership has been out there the longest. Yeah, I've been to Pakistan for that tour. And I know what I was doing. I was back in Australia in between the Pakistan tour and coming over to England. And I arrived here just before the Test series against South Africa. 44 overs gone. Netherlands, a little bit of a fight back again here. 191 for 7.
Yeah, just talking about other prospective batters that the Dutch may look at. Boris Corley is second in the table from the HCC club in the top class of stats, striking at nearly a run a ball. He's got 325 runs. I think this might be a game out of date, but the two that kind of the well-judged pundits are talking about that might be the next two batters to come through are Theo Wahlberg and Johan Smal, both of South African origin. As the reverse sweep comes out from Van der Merwe. And those incredible links that they have with South Africa do enable them to get plenty of kind of Dutch origin players, but they do it in kind of a really good way. They always insist upon the player coming up and playing in the top class and kind of committing to Dutch cricket. Almost all of those in and around the national squad. This is swept, but not under complete control. They won't take on the They come up and live in the Netherlands for at least 5 months. It's usually a 7-month period that they're in the country for. And a lot of the Dutch players, and even those of kind of born and bred Dutch origin, will actually head down to South Africa. They'll use the likes of the links that Ryan Cook has with the Gary Kirsten Academy. And they'll often play, they play quite a few of the SA20 teams year before last in some T20 matches. And they're just very sensible links to utilise. They really are. And quite a lot of their clubs, when they look for a professional for the year, they'll end up going with a South African, although there will be Australians and Kiwis that come up too. So yeah, certainly they're the kind of names that we're talking about from a batting perspective. In terms of the leading wicket takers in the top class of this season, Overdijk's having another good year. He's got 12 wickets. Jabber Kale from Hermes. Ruffle from VRA. I think he might be the overseas player. Qatari from Hermes too. But it's almost a bit of a controversy that there's been so much Dutch cricket, international cricket that is. The players aren't getting to spend as much time with their clubs in early season. And this year it's a big year in the top classes because they're going to drop down from 10 teams to 8. And that means that 3 sides will be relegated. And 2 will definitely be relegated. Then 1 will have a playoff against the winner of the Hoofdklasse, which is the 2nd division. So position where clubs are desperately trying to cling on. And even a side as good as VOC, with an international ground, is